Good morning, everybody, and welcome to my quiet corner. I hope you're all having a wonderful Friday morning. It's 8:30 a.m. here, and I'm Carol. And today we're going to do a little bit of a flip through Friday. We have some announcements to make, and we're going to do some art. Just a little bit, and I forgot to turn off my other uh, live stream because I was looking at and pulling out my chat, and I forgot to get rid of it. So I had an echo. Oh my God. Anyway, let's start with our flip through Friday. So I have a portion of a book that I kept, and I just turned it into a mini folio, so to speak. This is an older book that I had and have gone through a lot of transformations and got rid of a lot of things. So let's get to it. Let's see my flip through Friday. Now, this stuff is 2016. 2016. Like, this is old stuff. This has die cuts. It has collaging of different die cuts on it. My art has taken so many transformations over the years. It's crazy. So this is always my happy thoughts always page. And this was stuff that I used with my Cuttlebug, but I don't have that anymore because when I downsized, I actually gave a lot of stuff away. So, and I am sniffy this morning, I'm sorry. And this is my happy page. It says say yes to, and it's everything: creativity, bonfires, life, sculpting, change, health, everything, all kinds of good things. And then we have this is the dream page. This is all 2016. So, and stencils that I had, collaging. I didn't realize how much collaging I actually did way back when, but I did. All right. And this one is travel time and stamping and just playing with my colors. And the moment you know, you know, you know, a David Bowie quote. And it's just leaves falling. And I collaged my brown paper. You get hey, good morning, Vice Family Tree. You get the brown paper and in your Amazon packages, and you just glue it down and have some fun. So then we have this one as well, and I made a ATC out of a unique sized card. And stressed spell backwards is desserts. Yes, let's have some desserts. All right, don't settle for less. And I did embossing on my stamping. I did a lot of things way back when. And here are some more die cuts. And I put it into this. And in the background, you can see different words that are raised: positive, will. I can't read that one, but yeah, stamping and die cuts. And some more just randomness, and this is collaged on there. And this is one of my favorite pages with lots of splats and different things. The simple life means a lot. The simple life. And believe in magic. Yes, we believe in magic. And then just simple stuff. I was practicing. But that's my little flip through Friday. And it's a very old art book. It's not my oldest, but it is close. So, as for announcements, what can I put out there for you to look at while I'm doing my announcements? My stickers. I'll put some stickers out there. All right. Out of the spotlight, right? So that's not gonna work. Anyway, the announcements next Wednesday. Hi, Lygia. You're sitting on the couch having coffee and a bagel this morning. That's wonderful. I haven't had breakfast yet. I've been busy watching some videos this morning and got my shower and got ready for today. I do have an appointment later, so it's not going to be a long stream, but it'll be a fun stream. So next Wednesday, May 27th at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Eastern, we are going to have a 1K party. And we're going to have all kinds of wonderful giveaways, lots of art people. I'm going to have an open studio. Good morning, Kim. I'm going to have open studio, so whoever wants to come on live with me is more than welcome. We can have up to 6 people on StreamYards, so we can do that. We'll have all kinds of fun stuff going on. People doing whatever they like to do as far as their art, or they can just sit there and chat with us. That is just as good too. And take turns and tell us all about your channels so we can help each other reach 1K or your next goal. That is what we're going to hopefully do. So that's what I'm thinking. I have lots of little things that I'm going to be put together for packages. Most of it will be envelope size. So we'll have lots of fun little things. It could range from papers to some of my art to some fabrics or laces. You just don't know what you're going to get. It's going to be fun. So we're going to have all kinds of little things for people to be able to win. We're going to art. We're going to have question and answer periods where people want to ask you about your different types of arts. They can do so too. So that is all about the 1K party. The next announcement is going to be I don't think I'm going to do Friday lives anymore. I'm going to do uploads on my Fridays. I'm going to sit and do my art and video and upload. Um, Friday mornings for me, yes, it is 8:37 a.m., but mornings are usually not the good time for me. I'm more of an afternoon person, and I am I really like my Wednesday afternoon. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of interaction happening, and I'm more awake and less stuffy by that time. So that's what I am going to do. I am going to just do uploads on my Fridays. So I'm not going to be live, but you will still get a video, which for me, it's going to work out better because I like to art at different hours, and there's so many people on that I like to watch too, but I also like to art. And what my goal is to be able to create my realistic pictures. And in order for me to do that, I need to have my time where I'm not watching chat, because a lot of the times, people don't want to sit here for hours, but I can create a beautiful picture over days and combine it down into an hour. But my Wednesdays, we can do the smaller versions and enjoy the time and create smaller pictures and stuff like that. I can devote more time on my Wednesday. So I'm thinking Wednesdays will be really, really good for doing that. So those are my public announcements. I hope you're all okay with that because that's what's going to happen. So I will be live on Wednesdays just once a week, and then I will upload videos in between with all the collabs and my flip throughs and different things like that of my small projects will be video uploads. And then we will have a more in-depth Wednesday where I don't have to like rush and, you know, try to hurry things up. So Wednesday afternoons at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Eastern. And for those that are international, I'm not really sure. So And that's where we're at. That's where I'm taking my channel because I have some things that I want to do as well as my leather and my woodworking, and I can take the camera outside and do my little videos and bring it back in. And then if you leave comments or anything on those videos that you want to see done on a Wednesday, I can incorporate that into my Wednesday if you're interested in seeing any of the things that I've done. And I think that is going to work out 100% better because then you get to question, you get to ask questions, and then we can incorporate that into the live on the Wednesday. And I think that is going to be a lot easier for everybody because, everybody has a life too. And Fridays for me, coming fall, they're just not going to happen because fall into January, February, my Fridays are usually at the laser, working at the laser, getting orders together, and then we have the markets up in Banff and Canmore. So Fridays are usually super busy. And not only that, this year I like to have my Fridays free. So if we want to go camping or anything like that, out using my metal detector or gold panning, I don't want to have to say I'm not going to be here. So I am just going to do um my lives just on a Wednesday. And if we're gone for a week, then I will just have an upload ready for a Wednesday. But I enjoy my lives, but my Fridays are going to be getting busy again, and it's just easier for me just to do an upload. So, now that all that is done, let's get to some playing. All right. So I do have some happy mail that I need to send out, so we will definitely be doing some of that. I want to focus more on my watercolor carving and my leather and maybe a little bit of stitching here and there in between, but you'll get to see a lot of that in uploads. All right, let's get some watercolor out. And I'm not going to do it on this. I am going to do it on my book page because I have some ideas of what I want to put on the book page. So let's just do a background of some kind, and which means just some random coloring onto my paper. And I'm going to use my palette, and I do have more paints coming. They were supposed to be here yesterday. They're still not here. So it's like, come on. But you will get to see some of my detail paintings because I will video, but yeah, we'll have fun in another way. I just, family time for me is important. So, and with the summer coming and being able to get out and do things, that's that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get outside and maybe I'll even get a GoPro. Who knows? To be able to do spontaneous impromptus while I'm out and doing plein air painting or metal detecting or whatever. But they'll be brief, they'll be fun, and that's what I think we will be doing. So I'm gonna wet my paints just a little bit. And this is out of a really, really nice book, similar to a encyclopedia. It's a very smooth, like a hot press, and I'm going to just go for it. we're going to go for it. And it's like I said, it's very smooth. So what you do and how you put it on there, it's gonna suck it in. It's gonna dry it really quickly. This paper dries really, really quickly. So I'm going to take a little bit of the Quinn Gold, and I am also taking my painting and my colors down a notch. So you will see that I am going to be using a select amount of colors. Uh, and that way you'll be able to follow along as well. So if you have blue, you use blue. If you have yellow, you use yellow. We're going to do color theory. We will be doing mixing and matching. We'll be blending on our papers. We'll be doing different styles of painting that you're not used to seeing me do. And last week I showed a couple of books that I really liked, and I have watched the person for years, right? And I have finally decided to actually follow through and use the colors that she uses because I really like the challenge of mixing my own colors. And because a lot of my paints now are either old or almost empty, and I am to a point where I can make my palette with the colors in that I really enjoy using and not have 50,000 colors that are just sitting in my pans because I don't use them. So that is the other thing. So I do have a few select colors that I like to use. Let's just add a little bit of these. And a lot of the times you don't um, know that I'm using the same colors pretty much over and over and over again as you watch me paint. So I decided to create my palette similar to the person that I watch, and that person is Carlin Holman. She is online, but I have some of her books like for forever, and I've followed her forever. She's no longer with us. She has passed, but her art is totally amazing. And I want to generate some of the style that she used in her books and add it to my own because I just love it. And I want to take my art to the next level. And that's where I am all these years. And, I enjoy doing mixed media. I enjoy doing watercolor, collaging, but I also enjoy the fine detail of different things, such as my leather and my woodworking. So I have a vast array of things that I want to do. And in order to do that, I need to be able to focus. Sure, I'll show you the book. I'll show you the book. I have followed her for many, 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 many years. And I love her style. And this is where I'm taking my art to. Using my own, like I like flowers, but I want to use my photos and create with animals and put a nature scenery to this. So that's where I'm going with mine. But if you want to learn a lot of mixing, a lot of mixed media in your watercolor, the different types of different things that you can do, such as using your um, watercolor pencils in a different way. This is the other book I have. I've had these forever. There's a few that I would love to get as well, but all in time, right? All in time. So you can take your watercolor pencils and let's see, what have I got here? You can take them. Where's my water? Oh, there's my water. I'm gonna sprinkle my paper to get it wet, and I'm gonna pick a blue. You can. Hey, Kelsey. Hey, how are you, Happy? So you could take your watercolor pencil. Any water soluble pencil will work. And you can scrape just like using Brusho, except you don't have to use, you don't have to buy Brusho if you have watercolor pencils. So what this is going to do is give it a texture, a look, a different look into the sky, and it just spreads and blends. And so if you're going to sharpen your pencils, you can do this over your watercolor paintings. So this will actually blend. Let me just zoom in. What did I do with my mouse? Like, holy moly. It was just here. What did I do with it? I set my mouse down somewhere. Now, how the heck am I going to zoom? Well, I'll be. Did I put it down over here? It's purple. How can I not have it sitting here with me? Well, oh, there it is. Wow. How can you lose your mouse, right? Let me just pull this up and zoom in. The cat ate it. More like the husky. All right, let's just zoom in just a smidge. I can't see what I'm doing. Doesn't want to zoom in anymore. Oh, there we are. All right. So you can see the sprinkles of what it's done. You can see my page is wet. But you can go back in with your water and hit those. And what that does is it actually lets the pigment go into the paper. Hey, Jackie. So it will actually combine. So and then if you wanted to, you could move it, you can blend it, but it gives it a different look, a different texture. You can put down stencils and do the same thing. Do I have a little stencil handy? You could tell I'm prepared this morning. Not prepared at all. Well, my goodness. What do you do with that? I'm having one of those mornings. This is why I don't usually like doing early mornings, is because you seem so rushed to get ready and trying to get things together. I'm human. Oh man, sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I wonder. All right, so, all right, I found a stencil. So what you can do is you take and you put it down. Now I've got green, so I'm going to go into my green pencil, and I'm using my Faber-Castell pencils. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So, and I don't have this taped down because, you know, I just don't. Put this down, put water down. It makes it stick better. It's so true, Lygia, so true. And then we're going to take and we're going to scrape. Or if you have sandpaper, you can use sandpaper. This is just a metal nail file that I'm using. And you can go into over your stencils, create different looks. But if you have 100 grit sandpaper, it probably works a lot better. I don't have any sandpaper in the house. Oh, wait, maybe I do. Maybe I do. Let me just see. I do. It's actually 150 grit because, you know, I was sanding the walls. You sand the walls. Yes. And this works so much better because you get a finer amount of water. Or, all right, not water. You get a finer amount of pigment. So now I've done that. Let me just move this up so you can see what the heck I was doing. So you just take your pencil and you rub it over it. It sands it down. But you know what? You're using your stuff, right? You're using your stuff. So now I have my stencil there. I've used my pencil pigment onto my paper over my stencil. Lift up your stencil and look at how beautiful you see. Now you want to set that pigment. So when you're going to set that pigment, you're going to take your fine mister, and this is a very fine spray bottle. It will, again, stay there, and it comes to life. Look at that. Look at how nice that looks. And I put a little too much water there, but that's all right. So you do have your pigment here. And what I like to do is on the other side is set my stencil down upside down and look at what it did to the other side. Your pigment comes off in reverse, almost like if you're using, you know, when you're putting your stencil down with your acrylics, you're putting it through and then you're lifting up your stencil and you're putting it over to the other side. But in this case, I'm getting more texture with my colored pencil through my stencil, and then you spray it so it fixes it to your paper. So that's a fun little thing that I thought everybody would like to see. And this is something, yes, never graded, but you know what? If you have the Stabilos, they work. The Stabilo all pencils, the little chubby ones, if you have those, you can do the same thing, right? You can create through your stencil and then turn it over and create this. And this is the same thing. And Inktense, yes. If you have the blocks, that's even, oh my gosh, yes. We can do that too. Looky, looky. But pencils or blocks, they will work wonderfully. Let's go back to the sky. Let's go back to the sky. Let's see what else I have. All right. This looks like a sky stencil. This is a well-loved one. I don't know. It says texture. I don't know who made this. I can't read it. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to give over here a sunburst look. But first I want to spray. And then I want to put this down. because it will stick to the water, kind of. This stencil is so old, it's so broken. I don't know how well this is going to work, but we're going to give it a try. It's um, it's not sticking to the paper as well. So I'm going to pull out a darker blue Inktense. Now remember, Inktense are permanent once they dry. Hey, Doretha. So take your sandpaper, your happy sandpaper, and start by putting, oh, this gives it such a deep, deep look. And just sand it off. All right, we've got some. We've got some. Let's just stick this off to the side. Let me just hold it up so you can see. Look at this. I don't know how well this is going to work. I don't know, Lygia. I have never done that, but let's just pull this up. It has a little effect. It doesn't have a big effect, but we're just going to press it down over here and get the starburst over here. Throw the stencil down there. And let's set, hey Chris, let's set our dried pigment and bring it to life. So those are something, oh, it didn't do too bad. You can see how wet that is. Hey, Ellen. So that is something that you can do. That's a little bit different. It's something that I've learned through watching Carlin. So if you want to see a little bit more, in-depth ways of how to use it a little bit more, go watch her videos because that's how I learned. But I thought I would show you this little tip and trick. And while this is drying, actually, because it is so wet and so saturated, I'm going to take some paper towel, which I have under the desk. Let me just move this over a smidge. And then I'm going to take my paper towel. Now, when you do this, if you have a textured paper towel, you're going to get a texture when you lift. In most cases, I've seen that happen. So I'm just going to try and lift up some of the water. And then after you use your paper towel from lifting, you can use this in your collage later. Yes, it showed up after you spritz. And I got these bottles on Amazon. They were $12 for two, and they are a long-lasting spritz, but they're very, very fine, and I kind of like that. So, all right, we have pretty much everything picked up. We're going to pull, and it picked up a lot of the water. It picked up some of the pigment, not a lot, but it's okay because we can use that in collage later. So here we are. This is what we look like so far. You can see the stencil. So you can use that. Now I could have went back in with my mulberry unruh paper and added little bits of collage because I have taken and stamped my mulberry unruh paper. It's very, very, very thin, and it works wonderful when you're going to put a little bit of different texture. And instead of stamping directly on your paper, I stamp onto this paper and take my collaging and add it in, and it isn't wet enough to actually absorb. So what I'm going to do is, and again, my Yes paste, I put into a separate jar with some water so it's not as heavy or thick, so it's easily spreadable. It's very, very thin, which is really nice. It's nice and thin. So you can take that and put it down if you wanted to. Put it over the top of your paper because it will then bring it to that transparent level. And you'll know if you have it wet enough that you will start to see the color underneath. Now, I could take and spray my paper, which I just lifted, but we're going to take and add some more. So what I will do is some of the areas where I want to add the Unru paper, I'm going to just take little pieces, just enough to give hints of lettering. But when it's wet and you put it down, it sticks so nice. And then you can go over it after it's dry with your paste. But you can see the color coming through, and that's really nice about this is it's not actually a tissue style. It doesn't leave the grayed look. It doesn't mute out your color. Hey, Yolande, you're making breakfast. I haven't had breakfast yet. I have to go to a doctor's appointment today, so I'm having a quick morning with Hey View. I'm having just a quick morning. I had some morning announcements. If you want to go back and check them out a little bit later, you can watch the replay. I had lots of announcements today. I want to put some down here, move this up so you can see and watch the transformation. Like when you put this down, it just is amazing how this Unru paper just pulls the color right up. It is really, really nice. And I'm just massaging it into the background so it blends. Like this paper already has text, but it's a very small of what I'm adding. So between the background using my stencil with brushing through the stencil with your pigment from your pencils, you get a whole different lot of textures going on. I'm using Yes Paste, and I take like about 3 to 4 tablespoons of Yes Paste, and then I add water into the top of it, and I let it dilute so it's not as tacky of a paste. Because this is what I have, and it's like pancake mix right now. It's typically, oh, let me get the lid off. I should put something on there. It's typically like this. It's almost like a glue stick. But I take some of this out, I put it into a separate jar. Some people add the distilled water right in here, but it's too thick for what I want to use it for. So you take and you pull some out and you add a smidge of water on the top and it dilutes it. But you don't want it to get any further than having pancake mix batter. It's hard to explain, but bye, Chris. Enjoy your brunch. So, but the one nice thing about using Yes Paste is once you put it over the top, once your stuff has dried and you put it over the top of it, it's almost like, yes, it's almost like a clear gesso because it will take and one, it glues your paper down, but you can watercolor back over it. You can paint back over it. Yes, you can resuscitate it. Put some water in it. It is water soluble. So, depending on the size of your paper, you don't want to go and put huge, huge pieces of um, collage in the background because it takes away from everything. So, you take and you use little bits. And with your paper being wet, which my paper is not as wet as it used to be because here is not it just dries up so fast. So if you are in a drier climate, please do keep your paper moist and keep it wet so you can continue working. I am working on an uh, it's a book page, but it's similar to an encyclopedia page. It's very smooth. There's no texture to it. It's almost like using hot press watercolor paper, except it's not watercolor paper. Now, being what I'm using, nothing is going through because of the type of paper I'm using. So I'm adding bits and pieces here and there, just keep wetting down my page so I can add little bits of texture. And this Unru paper is just, it does last a very long time. I've had my Yes Paste since, oh, I'd say about 2017. I guess it depends on how much you use, but if you're going to do this, it's going to last a very long time. It's going to last a very long time. So that looks pretty good as far as my collage backgrounds. I think I have one more I'd like to put on because I tore it. And I got to put it over in this area because there's not a lot over here. And again, I'm just putting this down with water. After this step, you will dry it. You will take and you will dry it. And I do have a heat gun somewhere, but not handy. I would dry this. Take your time and dry it. So the next step after you dry everything, make sure it's dry. You would go back in, and I'm doing this because my time is limited and I have an appointment, so I'm not drying it. But my paper is drying so fast that I'm not having to worry about it too much. So I'm going back in over my papers with the Yes paste. And this is going to soak into it. It's going to glue it down. Oh, thanks, Ellen. Sorry about the sniffing. But you do need to glue it down. So you take your Yes paste and glue it down. Now you can go back in with your pencils with different textures and do some more variety if you so like. But what I want to do is create a little bit of a mountain scene in the background. And like I said, I am doing a very quick down and dirty watercolor today because of everything else going on. All right. So again, do I have a list or a video you can look at to get the list of color Carlin had used? She does have a video out that she has of what colors she used, but I can send you the list. I think she has some in her book, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking. I'm looking. Yes, she does. All right, I'm going to hold something up, and if you would like, you can take a screenshot. This is what my palette is going to be similar to. I have most of her colors, but I have added some of my favorites into my palette. So my palette is similar to hers, but I also have uh, favorites that I've included. But this is her palette. Those are the main colors. If you wanted to take a screenshot, you can, or you can pause the video and write them down. But she has she does have a video up with it. You're welcome. So I love her style. I love her personality. And but that's I will have the main the main her main palette plus some of my yarn. Hi, Greenwood. How are you? Nice to see you. This is the book where I showed you her palette. And then I also have this one. I think she has 5 books. I would love to have them all, but I have to wait and bide my time. So, yeah, she's an amazing watercolorist. I love her style, and I have done quite a few paintings myself in some of her style. And I've done, hey Cindy, I have done online actually quite a few, but in my own way. I've used her techniques and I've added it to my own style. And that's where I'm going forward with my art. So that is part of the transitioning of my channel actually. So you will see a lot of different things happening. Um, Again, my announcements earlier were about my channel changes and also about my 1K giveaway party next Wednesday, which, if you don't remember, be there. There's going to be lots of fun things happening. So now I have my paper is it's getting there. It's almost dry. I have this that I want to add to it. So I'm going to cut this out. I seen this. This is out of that same paper, but I wanted to add it as a collage element to my page, along with some trees and different things. And you know what? I'm not a great fussy cutter, so don't judge me. Don't judge me. Let's get rid of this portion, put it over there. I do, but I never thought of that. I do have a wish list. I don't think they're on it yet, but yeah, I do make a lot of recommendations, but I don't know how available. I had a hard time getting the books that I did get, so I don't know if her other ones are available anymore. They're hard to find. All right, let's just move this out. Yeah, I have to learn how to do that stuff, Cindy. I haven't really thought about doing a lot of that. So I'm thinking that would look nice on this page. It does. I have a hard time getting back, which is why I am thinking with the changes to my channel, I think it will be really great. Um, I can add more oomph, you might say, to putting more detail into my descriptions and more stuff because I won't be as stressed trying to get everything done. Hey, so magic, you're here to learn something new? Yeah, it seems about all I'm doing lately is learning something new. All right, let's get my little fan brush back out. And I'm thinking I want to put him there, but I think I want to do before I glue it down, I think I want to add my mountains in the background before I add it, but I really do want to add this. I don't want to put it yet because I want to take and, okay, Yolande, I want to take and add some mountains that come up into here. Now, my paper is still wet. I am using a watercolor pencil. Yes, no kidding, Kelsey. I forget things all the time. I'm using a watercolor pencil, which is why I'm making changes to my channel. So you will get more info out of me with uploads than you will actually on a live. So my favorite mountains to draw or paint are the Three Sisters. And I love seeing them when I go to Canmore. So I'm going to add them in here. And these are, very easy mountains to draw. You can't see them very well, but there we are. Let me just, so I can make sure you can see. I had another thing on my computer screen that I couldn't see what I was doing. So I am using just a brown to do the outline. And we're going to put them in the background. And my paper is still wet, so it's taking to the pencils very well. And it's also smearing the blue because, again, that is Inktense. Some of them were melted, some of them were not. Now you can take and use a fixative spray if you want to after your page is dry. You can go and you can get a fixative spray such as this, or you can use hairspray. So you can use this to make things stay put. And if you wanted to use your pastels and you put them down and you want them to stay, use a fixative spray or use hairspray. And then you can paint back over because it's basically gives you another layer that you can work with. And this is a matte fixative spray. Yes, they do, and I have some that's pretty old. So that is something that you can use. All right, let's get to some painting. I need some more brownishy colors. And this palette that I'm using, and you'll see me using this, is a Quiller palette, which shows you your primaries, your secondaries, and then on the ends, I have some extras that I like to use. So I have some favorites that I've picked. So this you'll see this coming up when I'm doing my very detailed paintings, and I will be showing you that, but my very detailed paintings will be uploads. All right, let's get some dark blue over here. I need to add a little bit of red because I want it to turn a brownish. As you can see, it turned a nice little brown. And I'm going to go over my writings. And most of the paints I have are transparent paints because I want to be able to do layers. And I do have some that are opaque. I do have some um, gouache, which I can use as well if I wanted to highlight something, because gouache then will turn it into uh, a little bit more of opaque and make it stand out more so in front of. Now you'll see me also using between the watercolors, the Inktense, the acrylics, the gouache. You'll see me also using acrylic inks coming up. So my paintings are going to take on a life of their own and create a versatile mixed media watercolor style painting. Now you can see the difference of what happened where I put the paper. It still did paint over it. It painted over it here, but it gave it a little bit darker of an area. And this is what's going to stand out and give little bits of texture here and there throughout your painting. So I'm hoping that with this little bit of an introduction, you will like what you're seeing. You'll understand why I am going to make the transition to videos on my Fridays instead of doing a live. So if you want to see me live, you will have to meet me on Wednesdays because I am only going to do lives on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Eastern. So now I've got my mountains in the background. It's getting there. He's looking pretty cool in front of. You're not picky, Kelsey? That's great. 'Cause it's gonna make it easier for me, and you'll get more info otherwise, because it will be just the process video. You'll get the full process video without all the added conversation. You'll get to learn more. You'll get to see more. I find my lives sometimes ends up to be more talking, and you don't get to have the full picture completed, and that's what I want to be able to work towards, is getting towards the full picture. Plus, I have other things I want to upload as well. So for me, then I can art whenever I want to art and not have to art on demand, except for Wednesdays. Except for Wednesdays. Now I want to create some sticks, trees, whatever you want to call them. The essence of mostly this video has been about tips and tricks. So it's different ways of compiling everything that you like into one picture. Now you can also use stickers. You can add your words. Kelsey, I know. I know. Long lives for me, I run out of things to say. By the time 2 hours come, it's like, what am I gonna say? Yeah, So Magic, I've seen that. I still need to learn how to do shorts from my videos. I haven't figured that out yet. So if anybody wants to teach me, I'd be more than happy to learn. I can make shorts, but I just want to know um, how I can create them from my videos because I haven't been able to. You pay your son to do it. My son is very artistic, but he is not um he's not the tech person. My neighbor's the tech person, but I don't know if he would be willing to do that. And I love granulation paints. I really do. Now I need another color. I haven't figured out how to make my darkest darks yet, so I'm still working on that. So you'll be, every now and then I will go back into my regular palette and pull out, because I don't have Payne's Gray in my palette here yet. I will have, but I need a darker dark. And Payne's Gray, other than using a dark tint, Paint Gray is a bunch of blues. You're loving the giraffe tint. It's actually a rock stencil. So Payne's Gray is a bunch of blues, and it makes the nice darkest darks. So go into the alizarin crimson, add that in there. That makes a nice dark purple. Purple, and then you go into your Quinn Gold, add it into the purple, and you get a nice darkish brown. I'm making enough paint because I need more trees. So this is more of a darkish green color. Hey, Jane. Thank you. Thank you. It's nice seeing everybody. All right. So for me, that is dark enough to do what I need it to do because I don't want it to be too dark. But now we're going to go for it. Oh, you can see the thin section texture after. Yes. Yes, it's there. It's very there. Thanks, Kelsey, for putting everybody's links in. So let's just make some trees. Now this is where the guy's gonna go. But I need to put some trees in. I need some forward trees. I need some backwards trees. Uh, let's see. I think we'll start here and we'll put in some trees. I'm doing a pine tree. This is just a. It's nothing spectacular of a tree. I'm just playing along here. I will fine detail it after. It just needs to be a background. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's just a background. That's what I keep telling myself. Aw, thanks, View. Thanks. So we're going to have lots of new changes, lots of fun things going on. Again, we will be having a 1K giveaway. I do have that live stream already up and ready to go, so you can hit the notification on there and be notified when it does go live. Now, this is mixing in with the green, and I'm okay with that. I'm definitely okay with that. Now I'm just going to go back in and give little bits of texture here and there. Because my paint is drying rather quickly. First off, this paper does not hold a lot of water. So it definitely is drying a lot faster than it would be. Yes, there is. There's a handmade leather journal cover for field note size, 3.5 by 5.5. And I made that. So I'm sure whoever gets it will have fun with it. Now, your trees are not exactly, you know, a triangle. So try not to make them a triangle. Have things stick out. I'm working there. It doesn't have to happen on the first try when you're painting. It needs to build itself out. Aw, thanks, Jane. It needs to build itself out. And that's what I'm doing. This is why I went with this darker color. And I probably could have got it using my other blues here, but Payne's Gray seems to have a nice color to it to get the darker that I needed. And this paper is very different, and it actually lets you uh, lift some of the pages up. Oh, thanks you, Kelsey. Thank you. So now I'm just doing texture into my trees, letting the branches come out here or there. It doesn't have to be perfect. Do not try to be perfect. You try to be perfect, you end up not enjoying your process. All right, we got two trees. I'm going to add some other silhouettes and stuff, but I need to do backgrounds, right? So you just create your backgrounds. And now my brush is like frazzled on the ends, which is nice. So you can go in and create bushes and different things like that in the background. It's the essence of bushes. It's not necessarily perfect, but it's the essence of in the grasses. So you just enjoy the process. And just remember, wherever you go on your papers that you've glued down, they will come out just a little bit darker. Yes, we've got party announcement. We have live stream announcements, all kinds of things going on. All kinds. Now I want to add, I think I'm going to add a little bit of Quinn Gold to give a different look in the back. You can't see it, but that's what I'm doing. And I'm also getting a second camera set up. So you will also get to see my palette as well as maybe me. I don't think you need to see me as much as my palette and the art that's going to be happening. Oh, that's too much. Creating just a little bit of essence with that green that's going on. And again, this paper is just a book page, and it is like an encyclopedia. It is very, very smooth. You can see I'm just doing texture marks. It's mark making. Use your mark making skills. Use your stencils if you want to. Oh yes, it is one of my most favorite colors. But you can see I have not put him down yet because he is my focal point, and I am trying to create the essence around him. It doesn't have to look like anything behind him because it's just the essence of. Whereas I want him to be my focal point. I want him to stand out. So when you're doing your backgrounds, try not to worry about, what you're actually trying to create. You're just creating the essence. Let's see. I think I want to pull out some of this Mayan blue green and add it in here as well, just to give it a different color of a green. I need to change my brush because I want to use my fan brush. Let's put this in here. And now I'm coming in with my fan brush and just going to work grasses, just grasses, in through the bottom, over the top of everything that we've put on, because that is a layer. We're working in layers. Watercolor is all about layers. Thanks, Yolande. And when you make your grasses just don't all go in one direction. They go every which way. So turn your brush, get your grasses going in all different directions. because that will give it so much better of a look because they don't grow in just one way. They grow every which way. So turn your brush, use the side of your brush, cross them over, create, that extra layer. And then if you really wanted to, you can go back in and create more design. This is a little bit different of a green. I'm doing all the greens, all the greens. Just so I can have a variety. And then I'm going to come back in, even though I did all of the stenciling and all of the whatnots happening, it's still a layer. I'm going to come back in and I want to create a couple of rocks down along the bottom. Pockets of shadow. Yep. Everything will change. No matter what layer you put down there, it will change. All right. So I see my paint is starting to dry up here. And when your watercolor gets to that, there's a certain stage where it's dry, but it's not dry. It kind of gets tacky. And when you learn what your paint does, you can go back in and create more textures into your watercolor before it dries because it's at that tacky stage and it just creates just a nice look. Now, the other thing you could do is if you really wanted to is you can go back in with the back of your brush, create little trees, create the branches going through because now we're at the tacky stage. We're at the tacky stage and you can go in and create the same as if you were using your acrylic paints, you can create your branches. So this is all watercolor. You can go back in when it is still in that tacky stage. This is not watercolor paper, so you can do whatever you like onto it as long as you still see a little bit of glisten. You can see the glisten. As long as you see that, you can continue manipulating that paint. If it's dry, like over here, you do not see any glisten. I cannot really make a mark in there as well as over here. So you'll be able to tell, and depending on your paper has a lot to do with it, whether you're using a smooth paper or a textured paper, it has a lot to do with it. So this is where we are so far. And I am zoomed in so you can actually see. And this is our main focal point. So you're not going to see lots of things, but you will see some things. So now down here, because he's going to be about here, I want to get some other colors going on. Of where he is. I've just pulled some Queen Gold out here because I want to make where his feet are going to be. Now I have some dark brown ink tints. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my Queen Gold, bringing it down from the top so your eye travels, because we've got the green, we've got that. I will add a bit of the blues in a little bit, but I'm going to come back to my brown and my sandpaper and my wet page and add some of the brown in the bottom. And this is my Inktense block. Add a little bit more over here. And this is 150 grit. It's my Inktense block. Put this back in. Make it set. You need it to set. So we are going to spray it so it sets. And then if you like, you can go back in. What I do with it over here. And you can take your brush and you can manipulate those, because this is Inktense. This will not move after the fact. You can manipulate that, and it gives it a nice texture. It's not exactly painting with it, but it is setting it. And I needed the brown because I wanted it to blend in with this guy so he has a place to sit, right? He needs to be able to stand on something, and I'm debating on cutting off these, and I think I will. I think I will. Somewhere's my scissors. Hey, Teresa. Thank you. I think I'm going to give him just the bottom and have him stand in there. So when I do that, I can paint around him and create the look of him being in there. But I want to create some more rocks up in here too. So, but I wanted this in here. And I'm just going to bring up little bits and pieces. Now you can manipulate Inktense as long as it's wet. As soon as it dries, it's no go. It will not move. But I do like the look of how it intermixes with everything. And you still get to see little bits and pieces of the greens in the backgrounds. And watercolor it takes its time. It's just like any other medium. They all have their ugly stage and they all have their pretty stage. And then there's some where you just want to say, oh, screw it. Throw it away. Throw it away. And I'm just going to go in the bottom. Just because I could have put tape along the edge, but I didn't. I'm just going to create randomness along the bottom. And it's starting to dry. And the same with any paint, you can come in and do the opposite while it's still wet. Use the back of your brush and you get another texture and you get another color. You can get the background colors shining through. And you got to hurry, because if you don't, you lose the window of opportunity with your Inktense, especially if you are in a dry country. Yours stays in the ugly stage. They all have their moments. Believe me, Teresa, they all have their moments. Clean off the back of my brush so I don't get it all over me. All right, let's move on. Clean my brush because I don't want it to stay stuck. All right. So one nice thing about this palette is I can put my wet brushes down in the bottom. so they don't get over everything. All right, so now we're getting close. I do want to take my other brush and use use a little bit of that Inktense to create my mountains. Like you can use your watercolor, use whatever you have. You could take your pencils. You could take your pencils and uh, draw in your rocks. And be careful because if you haven't dried your page, you can move, you can still move your uh, texture that you glued down because it's not totally dry yet. So I'm going to add some rocks coming up the sides. And I'm using my color pencil to draw them in. And you can do the same, use your color pencils, your Stabilo Alls, you know, whatever you have, you can use. So I got my outlines of the rocks that I want to put on there. And I'm going to come back in and use some of my Inktense that I've put. And it's mixing in with the background color, which is fine. Now, don't forget, you have some lights and stuff that's going to be adding in there. And as you go over your collages, you're going to see different changes. Okay, Kelsey, no worries. I'm almost done here myself because I have an appointment that I've got to go to. So it will be shortly. And this is another thing that, you know, life happens. Everybody has things to do and places to go. But I am almost completed, so we only have a little bit of ways to go. And I went to the sides with my rocks. You don't have to. You know, leave your edge because, you know, if you're going to frame, you're not going to see that portion anyways, which is why I didn't go up to the edge in here. Now I'm going to get a little bit more of my Inktense and I'm going to create shadows in here. And you can do the same. You know, enjoy the process, take your time, create your shadows, blend it out, clean your brush, blend it out so you don't have hard edges. You do the same thing with Inktense as you do your watercolor. You blend it out. Now I want to come in and create a little bit of a gray color. So I'm going to grab some different colors here. That's on my palette. You can't see it. I'm sorry. Get my magenta. I'm going to have a different color. A little bit of my Quin Gold, my magenta, and my Mayan dark blue. And it's going to give me this color for rocks, which I think is pretty cool. And you can go back in and create your texture with your rocks. Now, I'm not worried whether or not it's going to lay down in a certain area, show up differently. It's a rock. Rocks come in all different colors, all shapes and sizes. I have, you know, the background of my Inktense in there, which is not moving, by the way. It is staying put. So you get to try and Just have fun creating. Don't stress over what it looks like actually, because like I said, this is your background. It's not something that's people are really going to focus on as much. They'll look at it, but it's not going to be um, the main focus. It's funny is my water, because I didn't change out my water. I have from some gold flecks in it yet, and I'm seeing some gold shining into my the gold is shining in my water on my rocks. Now, also when you make rocks, rocks have little veins and cracks. So, just play around and create different textures, and don't forget to leave your highlights. You can always add your highlights back in after if you really wanted to. You don't have to stress over them if because this is basically a mixed media piece more than so a pure watercolor. You you can save and create your highlights as you go, but being that it's mixed media, you can definitely come back in and add your highlights after with your white gel pens or acrylic paints. You can use whatever you like. Eh, just enjoy the process. Now I'm giving this rock some textures. We have some rocks up and around here that have spots, believe it or not. They look really cool. But I'm just gonna create just little bits of textures. Use your imagination because, like I said, all rocks are different. You just you don't it's like a box of chocolates. You just don't know what you're gonna get. All right. So my middle part is pretty much dry. So I have my focal point, which is this guy. Let's move down so you can see. I think he's ready to join the picture, actually. And then I can either add more to it, I can add words and do some more designing in and around him. But I'm thinking I'm ready to glue him down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glue stick, and remember this is from which ink tints are you using, the pencils or the sticks? I'm using the sticks, but I also used my um, Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils, and I used a mixture of Daniel Smith and Winsor Newton paints. So it's a true mixed media piece, as well as I stamped on some unruh paper and collaged it down. And I used Yes Paste, and I also used glue stick. And I think I want to put him about here and add him down. Now, oops, don't move your head, buddy. Um, I will go over this with Yes Paste because I want it to stay put, but I will give it a chance to dry. And this is what we're looking at so far. But I still want to add little bits of trees and branches coming up. And being that I'm dry, I can go back in with uh, India ink Bye, Ellen. Yeah, I'm gonna be done very shortly, but we are going to just add branches coming up, and India ink stays dry, matte, sorry. It dries quick. But take your time, give your tree some wiggles. It doesn't have to be perfect. Have it go up into there. Just just play, have some fun. I'm gonna make it go over him just so it looks like the tree is in front. Make a bigger stump coming down in front of the rock. And just create. Just create. Let's put some little ones coming up from the back of the rock over here. And when you're doing this, when you want to create, oh, that's awesome, Greenwood. Thank you. When you want to create and use one brush, when you want a thicker tree trunk, you press down more. And when you want the lighter lines, you don't press as much. I want this one to be a little bit thicker, so I'm going to bring it down because it is going behind the rock. So I hope everybody's enjoying this. I hope you get a chance to check out the beginning portion of my video. I do have a lot of announcements happening, so please do check it out. You know, make your trees any way you like. I like drawing trees. Trees are fun. And we're getting there. So the more detail you add in, the better it will look. My focal image is out of the magazine I had. It was out of a magazine. So I have down here, he's just floating over the grass. So I'm going to come back in with my Inktense and bring that up onto my focal image a little bit. Like I said, you can come back in and use whatever you like to create your different uh, pictures. Use what you like, your favorite mediums. Just signing the bottom here, 2026, 5/22. And I usually sign the bottoms because it's easier to hide. But here we are. This is our final picture. Let me just zoom out. I could do more, but I am running out of time because, like I said, I do have an appointment today. So I will say thank you to everybody. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for your support on Fridays. I really do appreciate it. And like I said, look for me live on Wednesdays, and we will be having a little bit more in depth of a Wednesday and more videos and upcoming details of watercolor and everything else that I enjoy doing. So I want to appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you so much for your support on Friday. and look forward to videos because that will be happening. So, from my quiet corner to yours, have a wonderful weekend and thank you.